Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin by asking you a simple question. How long will you stay asleep while greatness is locked inside of you? Look at your life for a moment. Look at your dreams, your potential, the things you once believed you could become. Somewhere along the journey, many people fall into a quiet sleep. Not the sleep of the body, but the sleep of the mind. The sleep where excuses become normal, where average becomes comfortable, and where potential slowly fades into regret. But I came here with a message for someone today. Wake up. You were not born to drift through life. You were not created to merely survive. You were not designed to watch other people win while you sit in the audience of your own life. You were born to win. Winning is not about luck. Winning is not about having the perfect background, the perfect education, or the perfect opportunity. Winning begins the moment a person wakes up to who they really are. Many people are physically alive, but mentally asleep. They walk, they talk, they work, but they have forgotten the power that lives inside of them. They have forgotten that they carry ideas that could change their family, their community, even the world. Inside of every human being is a seed of greatness. The problem is not that the seed is missing. The problem is that too many people fall asleep before they plant it. You see, life does not reward sleepwalkers. Life responds to people who are awake. When a person wakes up, something powerful happens. Their thinking changes. Their vision becomes clearer. Their excuses begin to sound foolish. Their fears start losing power. And suddenly they realize something they never understood before. They realize they were never small. They realized they were never powerless. They realized they were simply asleep. Let me tell you something about winners. Winners are not special people. Winners are people who woke up earlier than others. They woke up to discipline. They woke up to responsibility. They woke up to the fact that their future will never be built by blaming their past. Some people spend 20 years complaining about what they didn't have. Winners spend those same 20 years building something with what they do have. Your environment does not determine your destiny. Your awakening determines your destiny. When you wake up, you stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You stop expecting someone to open the door for you. You begin to understand something powerful. You are responsible for the direction of your life. Responsibility is not a burden. Responsibility is power. The moment you accept responsibility for your life, you gain the authority to change it. Many people want success, but they do not want responsibility. They want the rewards, but they avoid the discipline that produces those rewards. Winning requires awakening to truth. The truth is that your future is hidden inside your daily decisions. Every day, you are either building your future or delaying it. Every morning you wake up, life places two doors in front of you. One door is comfort. The other door is growth. Comfort feels easy. Comfort feels safe. Comfort requires nothing from you. But comfort has a secret. It slowly steals your dreams. Growth, on the other hand, demands something from you. Growth demands effort. Growth demands learning. Growth demands that you become uncomfortable for a season, but growth carries a reward. Growth transforms you. You cannot win in life while protecting your comfort. Winners sacrifice comfort for progress. Look at any person who has built something meaningful. Look at anyone who has changed their circumstances. Look at anyone who has broken through limitations. They all have one thing in common. They woke up. They woke up early when others stayed in bed. They woke up mentally when others were distracted. They woke up spiritually when others were confused about their purpose. And because they woke up, they began to move. Action is the language of winners. Dreaming is powerful, but dreaming alone will not change your life. Vision without action is simply imagination. Many people have beautiful dreams, but their dreams never become reality because they refuse to act. Action separates the dreamers from the builders. When you wake up, you begin to act differently. You begin to value time differently. You begin to treat every day like an opportunity rather than a burden. Time is one of the most valuable resources you have. Money can return. Opportunities can return. Even relationships can sometimes be restored. But time never returns. Every minute that passes is a minute of your life that will never come back. Winners understand this. That is why they treat time with respect. They wake up with purpose. They plan their days. They guard their focus, but those who remain asleep allow distractions to steal their future. Distraction is one of the greatest enemies of success. We live in a world filled with noise, entertainment, and endless interruptions. If you are not careful, you can spend years being busy without ever being productive. Winners learn to focus. Focus means deciding what matters most and giving your energy to it. You cannot chase everything and win. You must choose your assignment. You must choose your direction. And once you choose it, you must pursue it with discipline. Discipline is the bridge between potential and achievement. Without discipline, talent is wasted. Without discipline, dreams remain ideas. Without discipline, even great opportunities can be lost. But when discipline enters your life, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your habits begin to work in your favor. Your progress begins to multiply. Your confidence begins to grow. Confidence is not something you are born with. Confidence is built through action. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows stronger. Every time you push past fear, your courage increases. Every time you complete something difficult, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Fear has stopped many people from winning. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish. But listen carefully, fear is often the alarm clock of greatness. Fear appears whenever you approach something bigger than your current comfort zone. It is a signal that you are about to grow. The tragedy is not failing. The tragedy is allowing fear to keep you asleep. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the journey to success. Every successful person has failed more times than most people have even tried. But winners treat failure differently. They do not see failure as the end. They see it as information. They learn from it, they adjust, and they move forward again. You cannot win if you refuse to learn. Growth requires humility. It requires the willingness to admit that you do not know everything. It requires the courage to seek knowledge, mentorship, and wisdom. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools you possess. Whatever dominates your thinking will eventually influence your behavior. If you fill your mind with doubt, you will hesitate. If you fill your mind with negativity, you will lose motivation. But if you fill your mind with vision, discipline, and belief, you will begin to move with confidence. Guard your mind carefully. What you read matters. What you listen to matters. Who you surround yourself with matters. Your environment can either strengthen your awakening or pull you back into sleep. Some people will not understand your new mindset. Some people will question your ambition. Some people will criticize your efforts. But remember this: people who are comfortable with average often feel uncomfortable around vision. Do not allow small thinking to shrink your dreams. The world does not need more people who are afraid to try. The world needs people who are awake to their purpose. Purpose is the reason you were given your abilities. You were not given your talents by accident. You were not given your passions randomly. Inside of you are gifts that were designed to solve problems in the world. Winning is not only about personal success. True winning happens when your gifts begin to serve others, when your work improves lives, when your ideas create opportunities, when your efforts leave the world better than you found it. That is when success becomes meaningful. But it begins with a decision to wake up, not tomorrow, not next year, today. Today, you decide that your life will no longer be controlled by excuses. Today, you decide that your dreams deserve action. Today, you decide that your future will be built intentionally. You do not need permission to become who you were created to be. You do not need perfect conditions to begin. You only need the courage to wake up and start moving. And once you wake up, do not go back to sleep. Protect your vision. Protect your discipline. Protect your focus. Because the moment you awaken to your potential, a new life begins. A life where obstacles become lessons. A life where challenges become opportunities. A life where progress replaces regret. Somewhere in this room today is a future leader. Somewhere here is a future innovator. Somewhere here is a person who will break generational limitations. But none of that will happen if you remain asleep. Your future is waiting on your awakening. So I challenge you today. Wake up to your value. Wake up to your responsibility. Wake up to the greatness that has been placed inside of you. And when you wake up, do not live cautiously. Live boldly. Work diligently. Learn continuously. Grow intentionally. And every day remind yourself of this truth. You were not born to watch life happen. You were born to win. So wake up and win. And as you continue this journey of waking up and winning, there is another truth that separates those who rise from those who remain stuck in the same place year after year. It is something many people overlook because it does not look dramatic. It does not make headlines. It does not always receive applause, but it quietly shapes the destiny of every human life. It is the power of daily personal standards. Every person in this room lives by standards, whether they realize it or not. Standards are the invisible rules you have accepted for how you will live your life. They determine what you tolerate, what you reject, what you pursue, and what you allow to pass through your mind. Your standards shape your behavior, and your behavior shapes your future. Some people have high dreams but low standards, and that combination always produces frustration. You cannot build an extraordinary life while maintaining ordinary standards. A person's future is not built on their intentions. It is built on the standards they practice every day. Many people say they want success. Many people say they want growth. Many people say they want to win in life. But their daily standards quietly contradict their words. They want excellence, but they tolerate laziness. They want progress, but they accept distraction. They want discipline, but they negotiate with comfort. Your life will always rise or fall to the level of your personal standards. Standards are different from goals. Goals are destinations. Standards are the way you live every single day while you move toward those destinations. A goal says, I want to succeed. A standard says, this is the level of effort I bring every day. A goal says, I want to improve my life. A standard says, this is the behavior I refuse to compromise. Many people are excited about goals because goals feel inspiring. But standards are what actually build the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Standards live in your routine. Standards live in your habits. Standards live in the choices you make when nobody is watching. You see, winning in life is rarely the result of one big moment. It is usually the result of many small decisions repeated consistently over time. The small things you do every day are not small at all. They are quietly building the structure of your future. When a person raises their standards, their life begins to change. Raising your standards means you no longer accept excuses from yourself. It means you decide that certain behaviors are no longer acceptable in your life. It means you create a personal line that you refuse to cross. Many people are waiting for motivation to change their lives. But motivation comes and goes. Motivation is emotional. Standards are structural. Standards remain when motivation disappears. A person with strong standards does not rely on how they feel. They rely on the commitments they have made to themselves. They wake up and work even when they do not feel inspired. They prepare even when nobody is praising them. They continue learning even when progress feels slow. Their standards carry them forward. One of the greatest battles you will ever fight is the battle between your standards and your comfort. Comfort whispers to you. Comfort tells you that tomorrow is soon enough. Comfort tells you that one more delay will not matter. Comfort tells you that the effort is too much. But standards speak with authority. Standards say, this is who I am. Standards say, this is how I operate. Standards say, this is the level I live by. And when your standards are strong enough, they overpower your comfort. You begin to live with intention instead of convenience. You begin to act with discipline instead of emotion. You begin to respect your own potential. People often ask what separates consistent winners from people who constantly struggle to move forward. It is not intelligence. It is not talent. It is not background. It is standards. Winners simply refuse to live below a certain level of effort, growth, and responsibility. They do not negotiate with mediocrity. They have internal rules that guide their daily behavior. Those rules may not be written on paper, but they are written into their character. Their standards determine how they think. Their standards determine how they use their time. Their standards determine how they treat others. Their standards determine the quality of their work. Your personal standards become the blueprint of your identity. When you raise your standards, you begin to change the way you see yourself. You begin to expect more from yourself. You begin to demand growth from yourself. You begin to reject habits that no longer serve your future. This is where transformation begins. Transformation does not happen when you change your goals. Transformation happens when you change your standards. When your standards rise, your behavior must rise with them. Your focus becomes sharper. Your discipline becomes stronger. Your decisions become clearer. Your environment begins to shift because higher standards attract higher results. Think about the areas of your life right now. Your health, your work, your relationships, your personal growth. In each of these areas, the results you are experiencing are connected to the standards you have accepted. If a person accepts poor discipline with their health, their body will reflect that standard. If a person accepts low commitment in their work, their career will reflect that standard. If a person accepts negative thinking in their mind, their confidence will reflect that standard. Life responds to the standards you enforce. The moment you raise your standards, something powerful begins to happen. You start making different decisions. You start protecting your time. You start choosing better habits. You start walking away from distractions that once controlled you. You start aligning your actions with your potential. But raising your standards is not always comfortable. In fact, it will challenge you. It will stretch you. It will require you to confront habits that have become familiar. Many people struggle with this because the human mind naturally prefers familiarity over growth, even when familiarity is limiting. But growth demands change. Growth demands courage. Growth demands the willingness to evolve beyond the version of yourself that is comfortable today. Your future requires a stronger version of you. That stronger version is built through daily standards. Every day you decide how you will think. Every day you decide how you will use your time. Every day you decide how much effort you will give. Every day you decide how you will respond to challenges. Those decisions accumulate day by day, week by week, year by year, and eventually they shape the direction of your entire life. This is why daily standards carry so much power. They are the quiet architects of destiny. Many people underestimate the influence of their daily routines. They believe change requires something dramatic. But often the most powerful changes begin with the smallest consistent commitments. Waking up earlier, reading a few pages of a book, learning something new, practicing a skill, planning the day intentionally, completing tasks with excellence. These small actions may seem insignificant in isolation, but when repeated daily, they compound into extraordinary results. Consistency is the engine of standards. Anyone can perform well once in a while. Anyone can work hard when they feel inspired. But standards demand consistency. They require you to show up again and again. They require you to remain committed, even when results are not immediate. Consistency builds mastery. Consistency builds credibility. Consistency builds confidence. And over time, consistency separates those who merely talk about success from those who actually achieve it. The truth is that people around you eventually recognize your standards. They see it in the quality of your work. They see it in your discipline. They see it in your reliability. They see it in the respect you show toward your responsibilities. Your standards become part of your reputation. People begin to trust individuals who live by strong standards, because strong standards create dependability. And dependability creates influence. Influence grows when people recognize that you consistently operate with integrity and effort. Integrity is one of the highest standards a person can adopt. Integrity means your actions match your values. It means you remain honest even when dishonesty might seem easier. It means you keep your word even when circumstances become difficult. It means you treat people with respect even when you gain nothing from it. Integrity strengthens your character. Character strengthens your leadership. And leadership multiplies your impact. Another powerful standard is excellence. Excellence is not perfection. Excellence is the decision to give your best effort consistently. It is the refusal to produce careless work. It is the determination to improve your skills. It is the commitment to growth, even when progress requires patience. Excellence is built through repetition. Every time you complete a task with care, you reinforce the habit of excellence. Every time you push yourself to improve, you strengthen that standard. Over time, excellence becomes part of your identity. People begin to associate your name with quality. And that reputation opens doors that talent alone cannot open. Another standard that transforms lives is responsibility. Responsibility means you take ownership of your choices. You do not blame circumstances. You do not blame other people. You examine your own actions and ask how you can improve. Responsibility empowers you. Because when you accept responsibility for your life, you gain the power to shape it. Blame weakens a person. Responsibility strengthens them. When you live by the standard of responsibility, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You begin using the resources you already have. You become resourceful instead of resentful. You become proactive instead of passive. Another powerful personal standard is continuous learning. The world changes rapidly. Industries evolve. Technology advances. Ideas develop. If a person stops learning, they slowly become outdated. But those who adopt the standard of learning remain adaptable. They read. They observe. They ask questions. They study people who have achieved what they desire to achieve. They remain curious. Curiosity fuels growth, and growth keeps the mind alive and sharp. Daily learning expands your perspective. It increases your ability to solve problems. It strengthens your creativity. It improves your decision-making. Knowledge becomes a powerful asset when it is applied consistently. Another important standard is the management of your environment. Your environment influences your behavior more than you might realize. The people you spend time with influence your thinking. The conversations you participate in influence your beliefs. The information you consume influences your mindset. If you surround yourself with negativity, your standards will slowly decline. If you surround yourself with people who avoid responsibility, your discipline may weaken. But when you surround yourself with individuals who pursue growth, excellence, and purpose, your standards are reinforced. Your environment either pulls you upward or drags you downward. That is why intentional association is so important. Standards are not just internal decisions. They are supported by the environments you create. Another dimension of daily standards is how you manage adversity. Challenges are inevitable. Obstacles are unavoidable. Disappointment will appear in every life. But your standard for responding to adversity determines whether those experiences strengthen you or weaken you. Some people adopt the standard of quitting when difficulties arise. Others adopt the standard of persistence. Persistence is powerful because it allows time for growth. Many breakthroughs occur after long periods of effort. But those breakthroughs are only experienced by individuals who refuse to abandon their standards during difficult seasons. Persistence keeps you moving. Persistence keeps you learning. Persistence keeps you building momentum even when the road becomes difficult. Over time, persistence produces resilience. Resilience allows you to recover from setbacks more quickly. Resilience strengthens your confidence. Resilience prepares you for greater responsibilities. And as your standards continue to develop, your identity evolves. You begin to see yourself differently. You no longer see yourself as someone drifting through life. You begin to see yourself as someone who lives intentionally, someone who honors their commitments, someone who respects their time, someone who grows through discipline. Your identity becomes aligned with growth. And once that identity takes root, your behavior naturally follows. Because people tend to act consistently with the way they see themselves. When you see yourself as a disciplined person, you behave with discipline. When you see yourself as a learner, you pursue knowledge. When you see yourself as a person of excellence, you deliver quality work. Your self-image becomes a powerful driver of your standards. Daily personal standards are not built overnight. They develop gradually through conscious choices. Each day offers opportunities to reinforce them. Each decision becomes a vote for the person you are becoming. Over time, those votes accumulate. They shape your character. They shape your habits. They shape your destiny. Standards protect your potential from being wasted. They protect your dreams from being neglected. They protect your time from being misused. They protect your focus from being scattered. They protect your progress from being derailed by temporary distractions. They create a framework that guides your life even when emotions fluctuate, because emotions change, energy levels change, circumstances change, but standards remain. Standards anchor your behavior. They keep you aligned with your purpose even when challenges appear. They remind you of who you decided to become. They remind you of the life you are building. They remind you that greatness is not an accident, but the result of disciplined living practiced every day.